So today we're going to talk about networking. The first thing we want to talk about is the value of networking. Networking is a great way to explore career options, to identify an industry or target a job function, or discover a job title that you might be interested in. It's a great way to increase your confidence and your communication skills. It's also a great way to acquire mentors or to even become a mentor. It's a great way to tap into the hidden job market. It's recommended in the hidden job market that you devote up to 40 hours per week to networking if you are in your job search. It's a great way to give and receive advice and moral support. It's a great way to exchange valuable information, knowledge, collect resources, and collect contacts as well. It's also great for long-term personal and professional relationships. Once you go to work, you are going to start networking from day one, and it's going to continue no matter if you stay at that particular position or that particular company for the rest of your career, or if you move and change careers 10 times. You're still going to be networking. You will network as a part of your job search in finding a job. You'll network once you start a job with the individuals there at the company. So Donald Asher's Secrets of a Job Search. You get jobs by talking to people, and that's what networking is all about. 80% of jobs are not formally advertised, so you need to be talking to everyone. Leads are a great way to start using your personal network and work from there. So you want to create these leads to help you get started with your job search. You need 100 leads at all times. Utilize your personal network, a family, your friends, your former faculty, your current faculty, alumni, and others to develop more leads. A lead can be anything from a job posting to an advertisement to a friend or a family member. 70 to 80% of jobs are never advertised, and online listings represent only 15 to 30% of all job opportunities. Announced positions draw the most competition. A third of companies hire someone for every 4 people introduced to them by current employees. Another third hire someone for every 10 people current employees will vouch for. So you want to look for positions within your network in channels. So within industries, within job functions, etc. You want to focus your search into 2 or 3 job types. And the bottom line, blindly sending off resumes through job boards is not the best way to manage your job search. Computers are just talking to computers. So if you sign up with a job service and you fill out a profile and it's a 1-button push to apply for 50 jobs, then it's going to be your computer talking to the computer on the other end of those jobs, and there's no guarantee that you're ever going to hear anything about those jobs. 54% of individuals obtain their job by networking, either through friends, family, by attending social functions, telling their barber, any individual that they come across to help them with their job search. So 54% of these people obtain their job by networking. So when you're networking, you want to decide your purpose. Is it to gather information about job opportunities? Is it to connect with someone who has the type of job you're seeking? Or to connect with someone who works for a particular organization? Or are you looking for advice on your job search? Are you looking for leads? Are you looking to develop a relationship for a reference? Or to find a job? People love to talk about themselves, so you want to ask about their family and their other interests, and possibly get yourself set up for an informational interview when you're trying to decide your purpose. Develop your list of contacts to include members of organizations that you belong to, people who come to campus, such as recruiters for on-campus interviewing, people you know from previous jobs, parents of friends, friends of parents, neighbors, faculty and staff members, current students and alumni, acquaintances such as your dentist, your hairdresser, your banker, anyone that you can think about that can help you with your job search. You want to look at special interest groups, such as if you belong to a fraternity or a sorority, any other clubs that you might belong to, student organizations, campus or community organizations, and you're looking for advice on your job search. So you never want to open with, are you hiring, or do you have any openings? Do you have any positions available? You don't want the first answer that you get from these individuals to be no. You want them to help you with your job search. So you're looking for advice. Do they know anyone that you can talk to that is knowledgeable about certain positions, certain industries, certain companies, certain job types? And you're going to run across these individuals at on-campus information sessions, again, at your student clubs, career and job fairs, and faculty. I believe for current students, faculty is underutilized. You need to tap these individuals. A lot of them, they could be adjunct professors, which means they are still working in the field. If they aren't still working in the field, they have contacts in the field. They either came from corporations or public entities where they worked and then came back to academia, or they could know individuals that are out in the business world. So what should you talk about? You need to be thinking out of the box. You want to develop an elevator speech that tells people about you, that you give them some insight as to something they don't already know or can't find out by looking at your resume. So what drives you? What's your passion? What is it that you want them to know about you that would be interesting to them? You want to be professional. This is not a time to tell them personal information that's not relevant to what you're trying to accomplish, which is getting the networking contact to help you with your job search. So you want to develop a script and get ready to use it. So you want to introduce yourself to make the connection, tell them why you're contacting them. You want to ask for advice or contacts during the conversation. Should be one of the last things that you do. Who else could you talk to? Who else could they recommend that you talk to? You want to have a list of questions that you want to ask. You don't want it to be the third degree, but they need to be relevant questions towards your job search of creating a networking contact. Prepare answers to questions that you may be asked. So if you kind of get into a mini interview, you need to be prepared for this. You want to be sensitive to time constraints. Again, you want to ask for additional contacts, and you want to thank them for their time, especially if you're doing an informational interview, even if you're at an event where you meet this individual. You want to thank them for their time. First impressions are priceless. What you say and do during the first 10 seconds of a conversation almost always will be the person's first and lasting impression of you. So you want to make sure that you look professional if you're at an event where you need to look professional, such as a business function, a career fair, etc. You want to have a firm, positive handshake. You want to reach for the person's palm, not their fingers. This goes for you as well, ladies. You want to go for 1 to 3 pumps and be done with it. But it needs to be firm, just not bone-crushing handshake. At a typical professional meet and greet, you want to be working the room and get to meet as many people as you can. You want to find out about them, and then you want to give them information about yourself, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. A good part of that is you want to be an active listener. People will often give clues, especially in social situations or even at business functions, where they want to guide a conversation. Even at a career fair, the recruiter will give you clues as to how they want to guide the conversation. And you need to be an active listener. You want to avoid the temptation to run off at the mouth. You're going to be given an opportunity to talk about yourself, bring out your strong points, but you don't want to run on and on. You want to give them a chance to respond, and you want to be actively listening to them. Some topics that you want to avoid at social functions are politics and religion. You do not want to get into a debate about politics or religion. It will not end well. It'll be uncomfortable not only for you, but for the other individual, so it's very smart to avoid these subjects. I can't stress that enough. Afterwards, it's a good idea, if possible, especially for an informational interview, to send a follow-up note. Send a thank you note for their time. Keep your contacts posted on your progress. keep a record of your networking contacts and their results. So touching your individual contacts periodically, either through email or through a handwritten note, is a good way to keep them looking out for you, keep their ear to the railroad, so to speak, so that if they hear things coming about, they can let you know about them. They don't necessarily need to follow up with you unless they have information that you would need or want, such as a posted opening. Next thing we're going to talk about as far as networking would be your netiquette. This is a pretty new term, but it's a pretty hot topic right now. 19% of individuals attain a job by connecting through social networks. This is a huge thing, and we have a lot of individuals that know how to use their social network to help them with their job search. But there's a vast majority of individuals that have not clue one how to use their social network. Being involved in social media demands that you maintain a positive and professional image. It is devastating if you don't. Look to get recommendations from colleagues on LinkedIn, if you use a LinkedIn network, which is kind of the business Facebook. Another great avenue to get exposure is to get involved in industry-related blogs. You can do that through LinkedIn because companies will have groups that you could join. For instance, Career Services has a group on LinkedIn. The Alumni Association has a group on LinkedIn. You can join these networks and get information about people at companies. You could try to connect with those individuals, etc. Employers are using social network sites to look for and learn more about candidates. They're also using them to further their recruitment efforts. So they're pushing information out to get it out to the public and get people talking about it. And they're using their social media to post job opportunities, not only on their website, but they want it to get spread across a wide network. And so they're utilizing these social networks in order to do this through Facebook, through Twitter, through LinkedIn, and other avenues as well that are related to their industry. They're using these things in order to post this information to get more quality candidates interested in their company. Social networking is a kind of introduction. It's a way for people to get to know you without really meeting you face to face. That's why it's very important that your image is very professional if you're in the middle of a job search. If you're using a site that has a lot of personal things, maybe you want to shut that down, deactivate it, maybe open up another one that's more professional and have it linked to on your resume, or have your resume linked there so that individuals will come to that site and deactivate your more social site. This is a small listing of the social networks that are out there. And a lot of these will be specific to things that you might be interested in. For instance, Flickr would be a site for people that are interested in photography. We mentioned LinkedIn again. You see that there. So all of these particular sites are going to be related to specific things, and you're going to find individuals on there that have the same interest that you can network with, that might know things about jobs that you might be interested in, companies you might be interested in, industry you might be interested in, etc. So there's a great way to get more networking contacts and more networking leads. The big social networking sites that most of you know about: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, MySpace. Again, companies are using these to push information, and you can make lists of individual companies that you can follow and be notified when they post things on the internet, when they're going to be at public events where you could go and meet individuals from that company, recruiters, etc. So using your social networking site is a great way to show that you're well-rounded, that you demonstrate that you're well-connected. For instance, LinkedIn. It provides a snapshot of who you are in real life. It acts as a gatekeeper to connections you might not normally contact. So individuals at companies that you might not be able to get in touch with through your connections, through, for example, LinkedIn or through Facebook, you would be able to interact with these individuals. Your information becomes available on a huge scale. So you can link your profiles, your resume at these different networking sites such as Twitter and Facebook, and individuals will be able to find out information about you. Make sure the profile the public can click on is something you want to represent you. If it is not, then you do not want to make reference to it. You'll probably want to deactivate it until you've finished your job search. Because as much as a social networking site can help you, it can really submarine you if it is not presented in the right way. It is a fact, and this statistic is growing. Almost 35% of employers are looking at applicants' social networking sites. 53% were positively influenced. 45% were both positively and negatively influenced. 2% were negatively influenced. And we are getting data that shows employers are using that to help them make decisions about whether they're going to make job offers. People are being weeded out because their social networking profile is not positive. It does not give the image that the company is looking for. This is just one example that we're showing here where a social networking site actually hurt an individual because it was not presented in a positive manner. They had just received this offer. There was an individual that worked at this company that was following their Twitter. It made it back through the ranks, and this offer was rescinded. So it's very important. You never know who's going to be looking at your profile, who's going to be following you, who's going to be checking up on you, etc. So it's very important that you have a positive image out on the internet. Another great tool for developing networking contacts is the Career Mentoring Network through the Career Services Office here at the University of Oklahoma. We have partnered with the President's Office, and we have approximately 200 former alumni that can help you with your job search. You can contact individuals in your industry, individuals that have the same job type that you might be interested in, and get advice and mentoring from them on your job search. So it is a great tool if you utilize it because you can contact new individuals every month and maintain those contacts for a lifetime if need be to help you with your job search. So we want to talk about some networking tips, the top 10 tips for networking. You want to know exactly what it is you want from others. So going in vague is not going to help you. You need to know specifically what you want from that particular individual, and it could be different from individual to individual. So your barber, you could just be wanting him to know that you're in the job market, and that if he hears anything or she hears anything, to let you know about it, that you might be interested in. You want to have a positive attitude when you're networking. Talk to strangers. Individuals that you don't know might be the individuals that you get the diamond in the rough from. You want to be willing to share information. Some bit of information that you get might not be important to you, but it could be important to someone else. So be willing to share the information that you have. Limit the amount of assistance. You want to follow up on your leads. It's very important that you keep people in the loop and that you continually follow up for as long as need be, especially in your job search until you have the position that you want. You want to respect other people's confidentiality. So if you hear something or if you get a bit of information that the individual needs they need to remain confident, they need to remain anonymous on, then you want to respect that and not use them as the source of the information. You want to be considerate of other people's time. When you're networking and you're trying to get in front of these individuals for a face-to-face meeting, you want to be considerate of their time. They have a job to do, and so they're going to take time away from that job in order to help you with your job search. You want to continue networking even after you have a job. You never know when an opportunity is going to come open because you've continued to network within the groups that you belong or with your friends, etc. So don't stop networking even after you have a job. And you want to incorporate networking into your everyday life. So the individuals that you come across, try to make a connection with them. You don't necessarily have to press them for information about a job search, especially if you have a job, but it's great to have people that you can go to for any type of thing that you might need. It could be as a resource at your job. You might have somebody that you want to refer to them for a job. So incorporate it into your everyday life. Networking is a great way to find the hidden job market. As we said earlier, a great many people find their job through networking. They don't find it from a posted position either in the paper or on the internet or even at a company website. The best way to get hired by anyone is through a personal introduction. Just because opportunities are posted online does not mean that the company is not hiring. Studies show even when companies are laying individuals off, there could be a certain part of the company that is actively hiring individuals. You want to call individuals within the organization you would like to work for and ask questions about specific positions of interest. Who could you talk to learn more about blank? Do you know anyone that is knowledgeable about blank? And you want to know the difference between different types of job titles. For example, assistant editor versus editorial assistant. An assistant editor is just 3 levels away from being a publisher, whereas an editorial assistant makes copies and gets coffee. If you don't know the difference between these individuals, then you're not an insider. You're not going to be able to get into the hidden part of the job market and get the types of leads that you need. It's very important that you ask for advice, ideas, leads, or referrals. Do not directly ask for a job. Do not put anyone in a position to tell you no right off the bat, because it will be a killer. You will not be able to use them as a contact, because that's what they're always going to think that you're looking for, is just information about whether they have a job or whether they'd be able to hire you. So it's very important. People are at their basic core willing to help anyone. And if you ask for that help, and if that's the way you approach it, then they're going to be more than willing to help you. So we want to wish you good luck. Remember, you want to incorporate networking into your everyday life and utilize it to its best advantage. The more people that you're talking to, the faster you're going to get what it is that you want with your job search. So I want to thank you for attending today's webinar.